get this, consequences can be serious. Sexual assaults have actually been committed by sexsomniacs. That makes sense. That makes sense. For example, in a recent case from the United Kingdom, a teen boy was actually brought up on charges of infecting a teenage girl with chlamydia and genital herpes during sex. Now, he was acquitted because he'd been sleepwalking. Now, I'm wondering what these teenagers were doing to already, be having herpes and chlamydia. I guess that's a whole other story. We're going to have to take them to the to another clinic to assess that. I'm sure they've got those clinics over there in the UK as well. But if anybody out there has had any experience with sexsomnia, give me a buzz. 877-CHAT-212. Love to hear about your experience, what all of this means. And like I said, I just like to bring this to everybody's attention. See, we're an educational show as well. You learn new stuff all the time. We learn that you can get hit on the head, start speaking in a different language. Now, we've also learned, that you can be a sexsomniac. Now, I also think people might use this as an easy way out of, you know what I'm saying? You've got the crush on somebody, and all of a sudden, I touched you down there. I don't remember. I was in the middle of a great dream. I was in the middle of a great dream. So, sexsomnia, look it up. I am not lying. And that's what I'm saying with that. It's funny. My Twitter feed is going right now. Now, we have somebody out there listening, Angry Stan. Don't know what that's about. Maybe he's angry because he's not a sexsomniac. Maybe he's angry because he's one of these lads that actually can't even get it up when he's totally in coherence with everything. But he says that a certain roommate was very fond of him after a couple of days of poor sleep. Wonder what that's about. She became very fond of Mr. Angry Stan after a couple of poor days of sleep. I'm going to have to figure out if there's an actual medical term for that. I'm sure there's some psychology behind that. So I will look into that for Mr. Angry Stan, since he mentioned that and he's listening to us and spreading the unfiltered word. Real quickly, I know we're running out of time here. Speaking of sex, there's a story that's been all over the news, and I just want to know how everybody feels about this. I've just got to get this off my chest, and it's based here out of New York, but it's taken the nation by storm. The main character in this story is Deborah Lee Lorenzana. Deborah Lee Lorenzana. Look her up online. She is a former Citibank employee. Now, she is claiming that Citibank, that's right, the bank, terminated her over her dressing attire. In a nutshell, she was saying that when she would go to work, she was told by her superiors at Citibank that her attire was too distracting, that she was too pretty, she was too attractive to wear what she was wearing. Now she said that she was wearing, business suits and turtlenecks and other things. Now, she's all over the news now. I actually saw her on, I believe it was Good Morning America. There was a big story about her here in New York on the Village Voice that broke a couple of weeks ago. And when that story came out, all the networks picked it up. She's Inside Edition, MSNBC, The Joy Behar Show, CNN Headline News. You do the whole gamut when you're publicizing something. And I'm wondering, I just don't know how I feel about this. Now, I've been in situations, and I've seen this happen, where there's an attractive individual, and it seems like most of the time it is a woman, but it doesn't seem, I've never known somebody to actually lose their job for being too attractive. And I'm also wondering, somebody to make that claim, how do you go to a court of law and really show that that's why you were let go? Now, interestingly, we've all got that friend out there, especially with the social networking stuff. We see them. I'm just so pretty. I don't know what to do. Like you've really got. There's a line where confidence crosses into cockiness. I don't know if this is the case with Deborah Lee. Now, she's a very attractive woman, and at the risk of being disrespectful, I've seen just as attractive females in my office, and she was dressed, nothing crazy. And I'm just wondering if there's more to the story, if this kind of goes back to my anger about the photos with Gary Coleman, if it's really kind of one and the same, that everybody, feels they can sell a story and sell a photo just to be in the news. Now, she did lose her job. It's going to be interesting to see what happens when all of this does hit the courts. She is suing Citibank right now. Right now, she's actually working at J.P. Morgan Chase. Now, I don't know if when she walks into that office, if the fellas are... Yeah, exactly. I don't know if that's going on down the hallways. Now, I know harassment. Sometimes it's hard to identify. If you hear that, you shouldn't be doing that in the hallways. That's very, very basic. You shouldn't be doing that in the hallways. But J.P. Morgan Chase has already had enough with her. They are saying that she has already violated their code of conduct by speaking out about another bank, using the bank's name, etc., etc. So, I hope that all of this, I hope that she's right. I mean, I hate to see anybody lose their job in this day and age. You know what? There's so many video cameras out there. I can't wait to see the video footage that comes out about this, because trust me, right now we're just hearing from her. There are videos out there that will come out that will show exactly what was going on in that office, and if, she, might have a little bit of culpability in this situation. Now, like I said, I'm certainly not blaming the woman. I don't, believe in that at all, and I love to work around attractive people. Isn't it, we've all had that office crush where, if I had an office, I would put attractive people in there. And I know that you technically can't hire people because they're attractive, but you know how you get up in the morning and it's like, do I want to go to work? But then again, if you have the hottie that's serving you Jell-O in the cafeteria line, if you're not going to get to see, your UPS guy deliver your package or whatever it may be, no pun intended, it helps you get out of bed. I think it's good to have a few attractive people. Now, she's attractive, but I think it's very audacious to actually claim that you were so attractive that you were a nuisance, a disturbance. And what I really think is going to be interesting, and I'm looking so forward to seeing how this plays out, to see how the other females react to her claims. Like, I really think that would be really interesting. Right now, Citibank is being very quiet. All we're hearing is Deborah Lee's version of events. But I think the group of people that I would really like to hear with to get a better sense of this and to see where she's coming from, and if this lawsuit does have wheels, is to see what the other females say, because it's going to be an interesting take on things. Because when a female is making these claims that she was so beautiful, so attractive that other people were unable to get their jobs done and perform their work duties, I want to hear what the other females have to say about that. If they come to her defense, if they back up her stories, or if they say, something in the complete opposite, or if there's some middle ground that's there. But people seem to be fascinated with this. We will definitely continue to follow this one on Unfiltered. Wow, I'm getting hot in here again. I've got that heat headache. But you know what? I'm not going to complain, because I could be on a natural gas pipeline that probably has little regulation from our United States government, and I would just be a commodity to them, and if something happened to me, just a check to write to my family. We're coming up on the end of the show, so let's do my favorite section. I love this. Let's turn this up loud.